The Ministry of External Affairs has addressed the allegations that were levelled by the Canadian government against Home Minister Amit Shah. And the Jaiswal went on to state that some consular officials of India were and still are under surveillance. In fact, India has put out a strong statement calling out Canada's bluff. This after reports essentially emerged that Canadian officials had deliberately leaked sensitive data to a Western media publication. Take a look at this report.
The rift between once cordial nations, India and Canada, continue to grow. 2 days ago, Canadian officials have confirmed a leaked Washington Post report claiming that Home Minister Amit Shah is pulling the strings behind the targeting of Khalistani terrorists in Canada. Spokesperson for Ministry of External Affairs Ranveer Jaiswal has now hit back at the allegations in a press conference that was held earlier today.
Latest Canadian target. We had summoned the representative of the Canadian High Commission yesterday. A diplomatic note was handed over in reference to the proceedings of the Standing Committee on Public Safety and National Security in Ottawa on October 29th, 2024. It was conveyed in the note that the Government of India protests in the strongest terms to the absurd and baseless references made to the Union Home Minister of India before the committee by Deputy Minister David Morrison. In fact, the revelation that high Canadian officials deliberately leak unfounded insinuations to the international media as part of a conscious strategy to discredit India and influence other nations only confirms the view Government of India has long held about current Canadian government's political agenda and behavioral pattern. Such irresponsible actions will have serious consequences for bilateral ties.
During the press conference, the actions taken by the Canadian government were further condemned. Jaiswal made it a point to emphasize the fact that these unnecessary actions will only further drive apart the two superpowers.
In the Parliament, all along we have been making our point very clear about our views very clear about extremism and the culture of violence and anti-India activities in Canada. This is our core concern with the Canadian government, and we hope that they will take action against these activities.
Jaiswal went on to reveal that the Canadian government continues to monitor Indian consular officials through audio as well as video surveillance. The United States has even come out stating that the claims made by their northern neighbors were concerning. US State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller stated that the US will continue to work with Canada on this matter. Trudeau and the Canadian government continue to dig themselves deeper into the hole they have created. And all this could culminate in Trudeau being ousted from office sooner rather than later.
Well, there's been a global spotlight on Hindu phobia. Leading the charge was none other than the former US President Donald Trump, who has once again raised the condition of Hindus in Bangladesh. In fact, it turns out that Mohammad Yunus's government has essentially been paying the lip service when it comes to atrocities against Hindus. Over the last few months itself, over 200 such incidents have already been reported. These are incidents that have been reported against Hindus. But it turns out that Mohammad Yunus and his interim government has essentially been saying that no such act has been committed by the radical groups in Bangladesh. So much so that 30,000 Hindus took to the streets earlier in the day in Dhaka to raise concerns about how the minorities are being treated in Bangladesh.
About 30,000 Hindus demonstrated at a major intersection in the southern eastern city of Chattogram, chanting slogans demanding their rights. while police and soldiers guarded the area. Other protests were also reported elsewhere in the country. Before this, on August 13th, leaders of Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council presented 8-point demands to Muhammad Yunus. They want immediate implementation of 8 points to protect their interests and existence. Hundreds of attacks against the Hindus have happened since early August, when the secular government of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was overthrown and Hasina fled the country following a student-led uprising. From violent targeting of Hindu groups in the name of a student protest, to Hindu teachers being made to allegedly sign prepared resignation letters by mobs of students. The country's influential minority group, Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council, has said that there have been more than 2,000 attacks on Hindus since August 4th, as the interim government has struggled to restore order. The demonstration comes amid growing concerns about violence and discrimination against the Hindu community in Bangladesh. The protesters are demanding that the government take concrete steps to address these issues and ensure their safety and well-being.